What's up YouTube, it's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another episode of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue. This week's episode, I only have one question. What the fuck has Konami done with this OTS set? So you guys know was it a couple months ago? I think it was. I don't remember, honestly. I believe it was a couple months ago, a few months ago. I said I had talked about the most recent OTS set that's coming out, OTS 19, and we knew that Fallen of Albaz was going to be in the set, but we never knew what rarity it was going to be in. What rarity is it? Well, spoiler, it's an ulti, but the other two ultis, you'll be shocked by how stupid they are. But I am going to be talking about this set, OTS 19, and give you guys my thoughts on this set. Is this set good? Is it worth spending the $30? Is it worth going to locals? Is it actually worth it? So let's talk about it for a second. As you guys are fully aware, these things usually have 25 to about 30 cards in the set, which consists of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, then 12, 13, 14, 15. About 16 to 17 commons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 9 supers, and 3 ultis with the super rares having tokens. So let's talk about the commons first. So first up, we have Red Reboot. Red Reboot is kind of an interesting one, because Reboot nowadays hardly anybody runs it anymore, because it's all it is just a really bad solemn judgment. And the thing about Red Reboot is this. I'll read the effect to you guys. When your opponent activates a trap card, negate the activation. If you do, set that card face down. Then they can set one of the trap directly from their deck. For the rest of the turn, after this card resolves, your opponent cannot activate trap cards. You can activate this card from your hand by paying half your life points. So it's a really bad wiretap. Where with wiretap says when a trap is activated, negate the activation and shuffle it into the deck. It's a really bad wiretap because you not only do you get to set it back face down, but your opponent gets yet another trap added to their board, which makes it even more harder for you to out, unless if you have like a Twin Twist or something like that. But other than that, Red Reboot sucks. It's a bad card in my personal opinion. Next up we have Symph Amplifier, which is actually the field spell for the Symphonic Warriors. It makes sense that this card is in the set, given the fact that we just got some of the new Symphonic Warrior support recently. So that ain't too shabby, but its effect reads each time an effect of a Symphonic Warrior card is activated, place 1 Symphonic counter on this card. When that effect resolves, all Symphonic Warrior monsters on the field gain 100 attack for each counter on this card. Once per turn, you can remove 5 or 7 counters from your field. Apply this effect depending on the number of counters removed. 5 counters inflict 300 damage to your opponent for each Symphonic Warrior on the field. Excuse me. 7 counters banish cards your opponent controls, or in their graveyard up to the number of Symphonic Warriors on the field. So not only can this deal burn, but it can also potentially potentially just banish literally some of the most problematic cards that your opponent may have in their graveyard, which is pretty cool. I have to admit, it's not too bad. Symphonic Warriors probably won't be meta unless they had like a really powerful synchro that could just do a bunch of bullshit. Then maybe, but not really. Now we have the Heroics. If you guys remember them, oh boy. So first up we have Gondiva. So first up we have Heroic Champion Gondiva, which its effect reads once per turn. When a level 4 or lower monster or monsters is special summon to your opponent's side of the field, except during the damage step, detach a material from his card, destroy that special summoned monster or monster. So basically, it's a trap. It's a trap hole on a horse, basically. And then of course we also have Excalibur, which, I mean, to be fair, Excalibur is not too bad. The only problem is that you would need to have at least two. You would need to have at least 2 copies of Xyz Import in order to play Excalibur, because Excalibur's effect, you need to detach 2 materials, and this card literally requires 2. So it's not too bad. I mean it's a 2000 beater, so it's not too bad. But next up we have Destrudo. This is the Monster Reborn one. So it says, let's see. If this card is in your hand or grave, you can pay half your life points and target a level 6 or monster you control. Special summon this card. If you do, this card's level is reduced by the level of the targeted monster. Also place this card on the bottom of the deck if it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. Okay, yeah. So basically, this was like one of the main reasons why people were running Stardust, running the Stardust decks, was because of the fact that this card was just an absolute house. But it was also because of the fact that, well, Sword Soul has a lot of synchro monsters as well as Infernoble Knights. So yeah, you couldn't understand why this card got banned for a minute. But coming back to 1, it makes sense that this card would be in the OTS set because it just came off the ban list. So I can totally understand, but it's so weird though. And then Fairy Tail Snow. This is another one that's just absolutely stupid. Fairy Tail Snow, one of the most absurd, one of the most broken cards in the format. I don't even know why Konami decided to bring this back off the list after, what, 5 years? I think it was like 5-6 years or something like that. But its effect reads, if this card is normal or special summon, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change it to face-down defense. If this card is in your grave, as a quick effect, banish 7 other cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard, special summon this card. Basically, this was a Book of Moon on steroids, because not only can this card be normal summon for you to get the Book of Moon effect, but if it's in your graveyard, you can not only trigger the special summon effect, but you can also trigger the Book of Moon effect in the same turn over and over and over and over again, and it does not say that it's a once per turn. So you can understand why this card was just absurd. Absolutely stupid. I don't know why they brought this back up. Skullcrobat Joker is another one that kind of boggled my mind. But Skullcrobat Joker is kind of a cool one. So its pendulum effect reads you cannot pen summon monsters except Performer Pal monsters, Magician Pendulum monsters, and Odd-Eyes monsters. This effect cannot be negated. When this card, and then the monster effect reads, when this card is normal summon, you can add a Performer Pal monster, Pendulum monster, or an Odd-Eyes monster from your deck to your hand except this card. So basically, basically this was basically the Stratos for the whole deck. Being able to search out any odd-eyes monster, any pen magician monster, or even also a perform power monster directly to your hand is absolutely nuts. And depending on what you add, you can if you were to add an extender, you're basically not only are you prolonging the match, but you're prolonging your own suffering, basically, if you will, because this card can oftentimes be played as a last ditch effort, but who knows? But that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, Skullcrab Bat Joker is just absolutely absurd. I don't know how the hell this card came off the list, but Wisdom Eye Magician is another one that's in the set, which reads. Let's see if I can. There we go. So the effect of Wisdom Eye Magician, the pen effect reads: if you have a Magician or Performable card in your other Pendulum Zone, you can destroy this card, and if you do, place one Magician Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone, except this card. So this was basically a way to lower the pen scale from a 5, which is what Wisdom Eye's pen scale is, to like a 0, and you're able to summon monsters from levels 1 through whatever the scale is on the other side. So if there's like a 8 on the other side, that means it's 1 through 7, which is not too bad, which is pretty good, especially if you're going into your link plays and whatnot. That's actually pretty cool effect. Let's see. Monster effect reads: you can discard this card that target a card in your pen zone whose card pen scale is different from its original pen scale. Its pen scale becomes the original pen scale until the end of the turn. So this is basically a way to counter basically bring the pen scale back to normal, basically, which is okay. Now for this one, 1,000 Blades is the next one. I believe this was a World Superstars card. I believe this was a prize card, actually. Let's see, hang on. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a prize card, alright. I don't think it ever got a reprint other than this one, so it's kind of a weird one. But if you guys have never heard of this card before, Heroic Challenger 1,000 Blades is a 4-star Earth Warrior with 1,300 attack and 1,100 defense. And the effect reads: once per turn, if this card is in attack position, you can discard one heroic card. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except heroic monsters. Also special summon one heroic monster from your deck, and if you do, change the card to defense position. When you take damage when you take damage while this card is in your grave, you can special summon this card in attack position. You can only use this effect once per turn. So this was basically a double summon Monster Reborn, which is pretty cool. This card was basically a one card. This card was basically a one card Excalibur, or a one card Gondiva, which is pretty cool. I have to admit. Next up, we have Lonefire Blossom, probably one of the most common cards in the format. We all know what it does. Tribute this card, summon another plant. Basically you get to summon a second Lonefire. Trigger its effect, summon the third. Trigger its effect, tribute it off. Summon another plant, basically thinning out the deck really quickly. Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness, has been reprinted so many fucking times. I don't even know why it's being reprinted again. I have no clue why, but Gorz was an absurd card during Reaper format, and even also during the days of Dark Arm Dragon, which is pretty crazy. Night Assailant, I don't know why this card is in here, because Night Assailant recently got an errata where they changed its effect just a little bit. So the new effect reads: target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. If this card is sent from the hand to the grave, target one flood monster in your grave, except this card added to your hand. So basically, it just basically you're adding another flip card. So if you were running, like let's say a morphing jar of the sort, that's like the only card you could potentially add to your hand. So it's back up at 3. Nobody runs it anymore, so there's really no point. Lava Battle Guard and Swamp Battle Guard are the 2 most stupidest cards out there. Lava Battle Guard. Oh, so basically, Swamp and Lava gain 500 attack for each opposite card you control. So Lava Battle Guard it gains 500 attack for each Swamp Battle Guard you control. Swamp Battle Guard is the opposite with Lava Battle Guard, which is pretty stupid. So these are like really old cards from really old tournament pack cards, and starter deck cards. It's all right. They're okay. Kuwagata Alpha, I believe, is the name. I believe this was a... Let's see. How is it spelled? K-U... Oh, okay. Yeah. This is actually a tournament pack card. I think from... Yeah, I think tournament pack 1, the very first tournament pack ever released in 2002. If I remember correctly, it's a 4-star. It's a 4-star Earth Insect Vanilla, 1250 attack, 1000 defense, and its flavor text reads a very vicious stag beetle that goes for the head. That's what she said. Anyway, Hercules Beetle is another one. I believe. Let's see. Yeah, I thought so. So Hercules Beetle is another tournament pack card from way back in the day. 5-star Earth Insect Vanilla, 1500 attack, 2000 defense. A massive beetle with a tough carapace and a dangerous horn. So that's pretty much it for the comments. Honestly, I think the comments are okay. I mean, Gores is an okay reprint. Thousand Blades is kind of a weird one, but I think that was like the only reprint of its kind. But moving on into the super rares, we have Forbidden Chalice as the first one. So Forbidden Chalice is the first one. Basically, Forbidden Chalice is basically a spell imperm. It's a much more cheaper it's a much more budget friendly card. If you don't have access to imperm. But what's cool about Chalice is that it's imperm on steroids. Target a face-up monster on the field until the end of this turn. That target gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. So it's imperm on steroids, which is pretty cool, in my personal opinion. Then of course the DDDs are printed in this set. First up, we have Triple D Oracle King Dark, which is the fusion. And what's cool about Dark is that with the dark contracts, you guys know with the dark contracts during your standby phase, you usually have to pay life points to keep those dark contracts on board. With Oracle King Dark, you don't have to, because with Dark, you gain the life points instead. Now, Flame King Genghis is kind of a cool one, because Genghis, here it is. Flame King Genghis, I believe, has the Monster Reborn effect. Let's see. I'm actually looking into my DDD deck. So we have High King Genghis, Oracle King Dark. Here we are, Flame King Genghis. If another double D monster is supposed to summon to your field while you control this face-up card, except during the damage tab, target a double D monster in your grave and special summon it. You can only use this effect once per turn. If this card is destroyed by battle, or if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target a dark contract in your grave, add it to your hand. So it's pretty cool. It's really good that that we're getting more reprints of these cards because, well, the DDDs have become stupid expensive with the new support that we got in Battle of Chaos, which I mean it's possible we could get another structure deck for them, but only time will tell. But we also have as well Perform Power Odd Eyes Dissolver. I believe this is the one with the banish effect. Hold on, let's see what this card does. Let's see here. Once per turn, you can fusion summon one Dragon Fusion from your action deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. So basically, it's poly. It's basically so its pen effect is poly with legs. Let's see. The monster effect reads: at the start of the damage step, if your pendulum monster battles an opponent's monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, your monster cannot be destroyed by that battle. You can only use this effect once per turn. During your main phase, you can fusion summon a fusion monster. Okay, so basically, the pen effect and the last effect of the monster, and the last of the monster effect, they're both poly with legs, but the monster effect reads. But the last effect for the monster effect reads during your main phase. You can fusion summon one fusion monster from your action deck. Using this card, you control as fusion material, as well as other monsters you control or cards in your pendulum zones. So that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. So it's basically double poly with legs. Not much else to say about that. Baphomet. Double D Baphomet. This is actually the card that can... So what's cool about Baphomet is that this card helps with your Xyz plays, and even also your synchro plays. If you don't, especially your synchro plays, if you don't have the right materials to summon, also just as an example, say for example you want to summon Triple Z Gus High King Alexander, which is a monster of one for pretty much anything. And you only have, I'll say, let's say you have, I'll say Double D Ghost, Baphomet, and let's say Savant Kepler. Let's say that. That's what, 2, 6, 7. So that's basically 7. You would go Baphomet effect, target Kepler, it becomes level 4, and you can basically tune Ghost, Baphomet, and Kepler together to basically summon out Gus High King Alexander, which is a pretty fun, pretty crazy, but really hilarious play. Pain Painter. I've never heard of this. I don't think I ever seen this card before. No, I have never seen this card before. Hold on. What was it, from Gen Force? Looks like it's from Generation Force. Let's see here. 2-star Dark Zombie Tuner, 400 attack, 200 defense, and its effect reads: while this card is face up on the field, its name is treated as Plague Sparer Zombie. Once per turn, you can target up to 2 face up zombie type monster you control. Except this card, they become level 2 until the end phase. They cannot be used as secret material, except for the single summon of a zombie. Oh! So it's basically a 1-card Red Eye Zombie Dragon, basically. It's basically a 1-card, it's basically a 1-card Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. I've never seen that card before. It's so hilarious. That's pretty funny. So basically, it's Plague Spreader on steroids. And then the last 2 super rares, we have Trap Eater and Kai's the Shadow Monarch. I believe Trap Eater has an effect. where if your opponent has a face-up trap on board, you can send it to the graveyard and summon this card. Let's see. Cannot be normal summoned or set. Must be special summoned by sending a face-up trap card your opponent controls to the grave, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. Ew. So it's just a really bad monster card. And then the last card again, yeah, is Caius the Shadow Monarch. Let's see, where is it? Here, Caius the Shadow Monarch. If this card is tribute summoned, target a card on the field, banish that target. If you do, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent if it is a dark monster. Ew. Okay. I mean, to be fair, the Monarchs back in the day, they were pretty cool, but you would literally have to run 3 copies of Pot of Avarice to make these Monarchs absolutely broken. So yeah. But moving on to the ultimate rares. We know that Fallen of Albaz is one of them. We know that Fallen of Albaz is one of them. This is basically the main combo starter for your fusion plays. But the other two, you are not going to believe what they are. The first one is Water Enchantress of the Temple. So I believe I did talk about this on the channel before, and so this was basically for the Adventure Art Archetype. So I've already talked about it before, but if you guys had never seen me talk about this card before, it's a 3-star water spellcaster with 1500 attack and 1200 defense, and it has a few effects. The first effect reads, if you control an adventure token, you can special summon this card from your hand. The second effect reads, you can banish this card from your hand or grave, add 1 Rite of Arameser from your deck or graveyard to your hand. The third effect reads, if you control an adventurer token, you can place 1 field spell that mentions adventurer token from your deck face up in your field zone. You can only activate. You can only use each effect once per turn. So this was basically Cyber Dragon, Terraforming, Spell and Trap Rhoda all rolled in one single card. But that's not the worst of it. This is what I mean by the question, Konami, what the fuck have you done? The third ultimate rare that is in the set is Skill Drain. Yeah, I am not bullshitting. Skill Drain is the third ultimate rare in the set. And it's kind of ironic because we had that card reprinted in Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1 as the dual terminal ultra rare. Which that card right now is going for $20 plus. Imagine how much it would be as a fucking ultimate rare. So the question is OTS 19 worth the $30? Because you guys know, when you spend $30 or more at your local OTS, you get a few packs of the recent OTS, and you also get a Lost Art promo. Is it worth it? No, it is not. Reason being is because of the fact that Red Reboot sucks. The two TP1 cards are just absolute trash. Literally, this whole set is trash. The only cards that you will probably want to go after the most are obviously the Fallen of Albaz, the Skill Drain, the Baphomet, Genghis, and Dark, and Chalice. Those are the only ones you're going to want to go after. Everything else sucks. I would not chase the set at all. But if you want the cards that they're in the set, I would say just get the singles. Honestly, this is probably the worst. Not the worst, but probably the least. How can I? You know what? Yeah, you know what? Who the fuck am I kidding? Yeah, it's probably going to be one of the worst OTSs out there. I'm curious as to what we can expect with OTS 20. But that brings me to the question of the day. What are your guys' thoughts on the OTS 19 cards? What are your thoughts on the set? Let me know down in the comments below. And that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. And if you guys are new to the channel and you guys want to see more episodes of Yu-Gi-Oh's Biggest Issue, which get posted every Friday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And make sure you guys follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. All the links will be in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail that you guys want to send me, and you guys want me to open it up on the channel, all the info will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.